Greetings and welcome to step 25 of our Awakening in 30 Steps. Today's contemplation is on the perfection of virtue. So I just want to thank you once again for, making it this far, 25 out of 30. We're almost there. Stay tuned for a big reveal about what's going to happen next, because I've been stewing and brewing and suddenly have some clarity. And it will really continue our study, of course, because the 15-minute posts are really just an appetizer. They're just a way of us to stay together. They're just a way for us to kind of review the landscape. But pretty soon here, I'm going to make an announcement about how we can go so much deeper together and really internalize the terrain that we've covered. So for the perfection of morality, I thought I'd start with just a little story, an inspiring story. When I think of the perfection of morality or the perfection of virtue, of course, I think of my teacher, Geshe Tenzin Zopa. Perhaps in my long years doing this gradual path work, I've not met someone more pure-hearted and more sincere and more genuine and more emblematic of the Bodhisattva than Geshe Tenzin Zopa. Now, of course, that's my karma, right? That's my filter. Those are my rose-colored glasses, if you will. Not everybody sees him the way that I do. But it certainly is enough to inspire me to seek to use him as a model and a guide and lift myself out of my own self-enclosed dungeon of self-centered interest and try to be even a smidgen, just a little smidgen, closer to the person that he is. So the perfection of morality or virtue story comes when we were in Bodh Gaya on pilgrimage in 2016, one of the first pilgrimages I actually led, and I had invited Geshe Tenzin Zopa for a 3-day stint with us at the site of the Buddha's enlightenment in Bodh Gaya. And we made some sort of cursory schedule around his limited time, including teachings, some extensive teachings actually, and some ceremonies, beautiful ceremonies, the Bodhisattva vow, the taking of refuge. These are unbelievable experiences. And of course, you have to share the lamas. They're not yours. They have a lot of other commitments. And so Geshe Tenzin Zopa was, meeting with these people and traveling here and traveling there. And we were sort of fitting our way into his schedule. And then of course, because you want to hang out with the lamas, they're even more precious than the Buddhist sites. The Buddhist sites are powerful energy portals, but there's nothing, absolutely nothing more captivating than someone who is absolutely pure-hearted. So the lamas, or the gurus that have evolved, they're more magnetic than even the diamond throne under which, atop of which the Buddha gained enlightenment. So we were, in a way, traveling, like a roadie crew with a rock star. Wherever Tenzin Zopa went, we would follow him, and unbeknownst to us, seemingly minor visits turned into profound teachings. And the story I want to just convey to you is one such story in which I think we were going from a children's school where Geshe Tenzin Zopa would meet and greet and give his time and attention to all the children, and then do a short prayer or short teaching. And then from there we would go to a medical clinic, and he would visit with all the elderly or the sick or the downtrodden, the forgotten. And he would patiently sit by their bedside and do mantras for them and talk with them, and there wasn't any hesitation for him, and he wouldn't get he wouldn't diminish his hope for them. He would sit patiently and be steadfast with them and concentrate on them and give over his undivided attention. It was truly remarkable, one by one, sitting by the bedside of these people in this very, very modest, I would say, clinic, and then doing mantras, and we would all just, it was really, truly magnetic. And then, it was all, if that weren't enough for the daily schedule, then he wanted to make an impromptu visit to an animal shelter on the outskirt of the town. So we all boarded a bus, and then from the bus to the animal shelter, and it was this like way out there, and then finally we get there, and there are like these poor little animals in India, starved animals. They have different kinds of diseases, skin rashes and like amputations and awful things, hit by the roadside and rehabilitated there. And thus begun the modeling of the perfection of morality and also the perfection of generosity, because Geshe Tenzin Zopa treated the animals right down to the little chickens and the dogs and the donkeys in the same manner, with the same integrity and with the same commitment as he did the human beings that we had just visited. And I just remember thinking, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it didn't make a difference to him. He would turn his heart inside out for the little dogs and the little kittens and the whomever it was there. And we would just be surrounding him, like, and he brought us into the fold. There was like a gravitational pull. All our minds were just drawn in to thinking about the welfare, the care, the attention, the healing, the safety of the other. And this is true integrity. Giving, it is the giving of Dharma, but it is coming from the source of pure integrity, virtue. This is what it feels like to be around a lamp, a true lamp of the path, a true emblem of virtue. You could feel the energy being drawn through him and then offered to these living creatures, little cows and goats and sheep, and incredible. And then at the end of that, we thought we were going to be there for 5 minutes. No, not there for 5 minutes. Endless amount of energy, endless amount of time, devotion, commitment to each and every single sentient being, not human beings here, sentient beings. Same amount of consideration. And then and then it goes to the staff, each of the staff, bowing, praying for them, asking about their family, asking how they're doing, asking about their backstory, again attention, again care, again consideration, again blessings, praying for them sincerely. Truly remarkable. It is one of these moments where you least expect anything to happen. You're sort of on tour with the Lama, you're going around, and then suddenly, boom, you are in a portal of love and compassion and attention and giving and a true nuclear fusion factory of pure morality. And this is why the Lamas are so important, because you could read this in text, but it's one thing to read it about some ancient master, but it's another one to be around it, to feel it, and to be drawn into its gravitational thrust. So I want to just share that with you for today's contemplation on the perfection of virtue. Today's contemplation has, of course, a lot of these perfections have 3 parts. Last post we had 3 parts on the generosity, the giving of material goods or resources, the giving of protection from fear, and the giving of dharma. And the morality or virtue perfection also has 3 types. The restraint of negative impulses, the cultivation of virtue, and the blessings for sentient beings, the bestowing of one's goodwill on living beings. These are the 3 types of virtue. And I hope that story, in a way, encapsulated not only all 3 types, how, it's so easy for us to become self-absorbed and flippant and so casual and callous, and so easy to react, and to not have pure motivations and to have self-interested motivations. So all of these are restrained in the first type of morality. Truly trying to work skillfully with one's destructive impulses, self-interested impulses. The second one is to really cultivate virtue. And everything can be a training ground for the cultivation of virtue. Giving a cup of tea, for example, the perfection of giving, if it comes from a pure place, you're also combining it with the perfection of virtue in the second type of virtue. The wish, the good intention, the wish that others would benefit. So this is the perfection of giving, the second type. cultivating virtue, doing good things, practicing what's called the 10 virtues. So the first one is restraining from the 10 non-virtues. The second one is cultivating the 10 virtues. And the third one is benefiting sentient beings. And here it says sentient beings, not human beings. And this is why I brought up this story. It's like every little creature. I remember when I was first at Copan training in 2006, I was shaving in the bathroom, and it was during the time where Lama Zopa was talking about this perfection of morality and virtue and benefiting living beings. And if I had washed my face around the drain were ants. And I remember thinking it would have just been so quickly for me to wash my face and quickly carry on with life and let the water drain the ants down the drain pipe. And then there was a moment of mindfulness, a moment of recognition. That's a sentient life. That's a sentient life. And of course, I was in the orbit of Lama Zopa giving these profound teachings, and there was the direct application. It just took 2 more minutes of extra effort to let the ants crawl out of the sink and then be more conscientious about where the water fell. Just 2 more minutes, but it was a direct application of attention. It was a direct application of the perfection of virtue in consideration of sentient beings. So powerful, little things, little ways of applying these little things. So today's reflection, number 25, is on the perfection of virtue. There are 3 types of virtue: the virtue of restraining negative impulses, the second one, the cultivation of the 10 virtues, sincere and authentic ways of being sensitive to the needs of others. And the third is benefiting sentient beings. And it occurred to me, one other quick contemplation here is all of these perfections make no sense without karma theory. So I'm just sorry about this, that our culture wants to extrapolate and extract meditation from its basis, its cosmology and karma theory, but it really doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So the perfection of generosity in last post, the perfection of morality, I mean, you cannot understand these things properly without seeing how everything is cause and effect. And that by restraining impulses and cultivating good ones and being sincere and turning your heart inside out and protecting living beings rather than injuring them is all based on the cultivation of merit and all the energy and the force and conviction and good mojo that we need to really make strides in our evolution towards Buddhahood. It just doesn't make any sense. And then the final, sorry to be so disparate about these thoughts here, but the other image that came to my mind was a snowflake. When we're doing our reflections on how each of the perfections weaves in or webs or interrelates with the other 5, I was thinking about a snowflake with its little tendrils. So you could almost like label the center of it the perfection of the day, be it the perfection of generosity or the perfection of morality, but then you could have the other 5 tendrils, and you can have an opportunity as a homework assignment to start to see, like, how does the morality perfection relate to giving? Well, hopefully you'll see in Geshe Tenzin Zopa's example today of giving from a pure place, but then the perseverance was there and the patience was there. Some of us might have been irritated, like hungry or tired or whatever from the long journey of going here and there, but not Geshe Tenzin Zopa. Had tremendous patience, he had tremendous perseverance, his morality or sensitivity was guided by the giving of Dharma. His mind was consumed or focused on merits. He was juice pressing. And of course, the perfection of wisdom. There was no self, there was no other, there was no fixation on the exchange. It was like light rays from the sun. You couldn't grasp them. Today is contemplation 25 of the 30 steps of awakening, the perfection of morality or virtue. Keep your ears and eyes out for a big announcement coming soon. All best wishes.